So thank you for joining us again. Welcome back to our series on interviewing the speakers that we're going to have this year at the ISTE conference. Today's topic is going to be Makerspace, and we've invited three of our best presenters, and they're going to be all speaking about the subject of Makerspace at the conference this year in Philadelphia. And some of the things we're going to learn from them today are on the subjects of 3D printers and Minecraft and robots. I was going to say robotics. And so if you guys have any questions on that at all, please let us know. We've got if you look on your Hangout, in the top right, towards the top right-hand corner, there's a box with some little squares in it. And in that box, you can switch from the showcase to the Q&A. And so that is where you can ask us a question if you'd like to ask us a question there, and we might try to actually answer it while we're live here. And if not, we'll try to get your question answered in any case. You can switch back to the showcase, and that is where there's a link to the ISTE Google Plus page as well as a link to the conference page. So if you haven't heard about the conference yet and want more information, you can find that in the showcase as well. So today we've got, like I said, three amazing speakers that will be presenting at ISTE this year. And the first of which is Laura Briggs. Laura is the technology resource teacher at Loudoun County Public Schools in Leesburg, Virginia. Thanks for being here, Laura. Our next presenter is going to be Sylvia Martinez. And Sylvia is the co-author of Invent to Learn, Making, Tinkering, and Engineering in the Classroom. And last but not least, we have Vinnie Vrotny, who is the Director of Technology at the Kinkaid School in Houston, Texas. So, like I said, three great presenters. We are going to kick it off with Laura. Laura's going to share a little bit about things that she's seen working. And take it away, Laura.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And we're really excited for ISTE coming up, needless to say. And some of the things that we'll be talking about at ISTE are some of the things that you'll hear about tonight. And one of the things I think all three of us really agree upon is that our students really need to be able to solve problems and think critically and collaborate. Designing and creating and building is all a part of the different activities that I do with my students at my school and also at a summer camp that I run. And we really try to develop peer excitement, and that always helps drive learning and experimentation and innovation. Some of the activities that we do at our camp during the summer, and we have a variety of age groups. We have kindergarten through rising fifth graders, and we also actually have, for the past several years, middle school students and high school students who are sort of camp counselors or mentors with our younger campers. And some of the activities that we do, Elizabeth mentioned, 3D printing. We do all kinds of robotics. We add different types of robotics each year. We're doing Spheros this year. We're doing some Moss robots in addition to our Cublets that we already have. Definitely, we always do Lego. We do and NXT, and we're trying to also incorporate some Evo robots as well with that. And some of these run definitely on laptops. Some now run on mobile devices. And so we definitely want to incorporate our iPads that we have for campers to use. Some of the other things that we do during our school year and also during our summer camp are we have a cardboard arcade where students put together all kinds of creations, and they work with partners or small groups or individually, and that's based off of Kane's Arcade, and we even give them all kinds of tools that they can use to create their cardboard designs. And it is so amazing to see the kinds of games and creations that students come up with. They start making tickets, they start having their rules, and all kinds of different objects, whether it might be foil or popsicle sticks or balls or plastic, or all different kinds of things can be incorporated. One of the neat things that we use for designing with a cardboard, we make vehicles as well, the campers do, And we have wheels for them, we have hinges and pop things that go in between the cardboard pieces to hold them all together, and those really come in handy for helping the students use more than just tape. And of course we do have tape, duct tape and regular tape, and sticky tape and things for them to decorate and design their cardboard games as well. Some of our other stations and centers include something just as simple as wooden dowels, and they put those together with rubber bands to make all different kinds of structures, and we bring in the geometry, we bring in the design and the structure and the stability, and students really love that. They get inside of it and make big giant designs all around our library makerspace. Some of the additional activities that we work on, in addition to robots, we have a variety of apps that we have installed on our iPads, and we have a lot of different coding apps that we use, digital storytelling apps, and just apps where they can make and build, building a roller coaster, for example, with an app. And we definitely use Minecraft and Survival Craft as well. Those are definitely favorites of the students, and so we have them building, taking snapshots of what they build, putting them together in iMovie, putting them together in other types of slideshows to tell about what they're actually building. And they like to incorporate video as well, needless to say. And speaking of Minecraft, we also do Minecraft EDU, and we do that with a server and 12 other laptops, so it's a closed system with Minecraft EDU. We don't have students log on to public servers or anything like that, and students work together. They work with our older student mentors, and they really get into the building aspect, and we save all of their builds so they're able to work on those throughout the weeks of our summer camp. And I think really the focus is just really helping the students gain confidence. That's one thing that we really noticed in the last several summers, and even as we do things within our school. My librarian and I actually do a Makerspace activity each day with groups of students that come through. And so our library, for example, is not set up as a Makerspace, but we have our Makerspace materials on a cart that we're able to move around to different places. So you don't have to have a lot of equipment, or you don't have to have the 3D printer to actually have a Makerspace. It's really encouraging the students to be creative and be problem solvers, so they can really build, play, and learn. It's always amazing. Students will come up to us and say, I'm really learning something here. This is amazing, and this is not like regular school, but I'm learning so much. It's like they're surprised that they're able to learn and be excited about their learning. And that's really our goal, is to have the students be excited and have fun and be creators and makers. And that's what we do. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds great, Laura. Thanks for sharing. One of the questions that we had gotten in advance was someone was asking for more tips on Minecraft and Minecraft EDU. Do you have anything to add other than kind of what you covered there?
Sure. With Minecraft EDU, having that closed system is definitely a safe environment for students. And what we usually do is we rotate our stations around, so students are able to go to other stations, even though they like to do the Minecraft, most of the day pretty much. And we have, certain rules that we follow, and we make a community charter with the students. So we talk about not destroying other campers' builds, for example. We talk about digital citizenship skills, and we bring that into their play as well with the Minecraft EDU game. And we really help the students develop that themselves, so they have a sense of community, as well as just having some rules that we all follow and that we all agree on. And some of the other tips are that our student mentors are really, really key in helping the younger students learn about new techniques, learn about new ways to build things, to use redstone, and to make a roller coaster. And there are some things you can do in the EDU version that you really can't do in the Pocket Edition with the app. So students like to use both, but then they're able to actually create different types of things.
Okay, yeah, those are some fantastic tips. Go ahead, Vinnie.
Elizabeth, I'm going to just jump in. There's a Google group, the Minecraft Educators group. That's a very active, wonderful set of resources and folks who will help spur some ideas. So don't forget about that, connecting with others.
It's a great
Thanks
idea.
for that tip. Great, Vinnie. All right, Sylvia, you are up next. What did you want to share with us today?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I so appreciate that ISTE sees this as an ongoing conversation, not just as a once-a-year conference or a newsletter or something. I think ISTE is a fantastic time for teachers to come together and learn and share. I'm really excited about being there. I'm going to be doing 2 sessions, one on the maker movement, and then the other on girls in STEM, which is another area that I'm very interested in. I want to share some research and some of the new things that are going on. There's lots of really, really interesting things going on, not just in the maker community, but all across the board with igniting girls' interest in STEM subjects and keeping them interested as they go through the school system. I'm also going to be at the Mobile Makerspace talking about getting started, which is probably the #1 thing people ask me about. So I've got a top 10 list that I'm going to go through. I can share with you one preview is getting started means focusing on the students first. So sure, it's great to plan, and have a wonderful idea about how you're going to change the time, your class times, or we're going to collaborate with science and math. But having kids start to do something gives you a great platform to take the next step, because then you've got something you can say. Oh, well, yes, our kids can do this. Yes, they are interested in that. So that's a little sneak preview of the Mobile Maker Share Getting Started session. We're also doing a pre-conference before ISTE on Sunday, hands-on, day-long, Invent to Learn. You can find out about this at inventtoloearn.com/ISTE if you want to come out and hang out and really get into the tools, including some new stuff. Just came back from Maker Faire, the big Bay Area Maker Faire, where there were a whole lot of new apps. Tickle is an amazing new programming app on the iPad. It's very Scratch-like, and it's already starting to control robots like the Sphero and drones and things like this. It's changing as we speak. So, if you think you know what making is, come and learn more. And if you feel like, oh my God, there's just too much to learn, this is a great place to get started and sort of have educators to help you think through these issues. One of the topics that I talk to teachers about all over the world all the time is, how is this different? What does this look like? If I don't have a set lesson plan, if all the kids aren't doing exactly the same thing and I'm bringing in all these new materials, what does this look like in the classroom? And so, talking to teachers about the idea of using prompts and challenges as opposed to a rigid lesson plan or a step-by-step handout. And then teachers are like, well, how do I do that? What if the kids don't know what to do? How do I help them? One of the things we talk about in our book, and I think we're already gathering material for the next version or maybe even another book, because this is such a big topic, is how to take a step back, and instead of saying, well, the kids don't understand, I'm going to help them, another handout, another step-by-step, another mind map, to watch what the kids do and iterate as a teacher on your own classroom design, by doing the opposite, by saying, well, I'm going to maybe, instead of this handout, maybe they don't need a handout, and see if they actually get to the answer faster. And a lot of teachers say that actually works, that by giving the kids too much information, you're actually making them stop thinking and start doing your work instead of their work. And whereas that sounds completely counterintuitive for a lot of teachers, I think that there are methodologies, and I'll be talking about this at ISTE, and maybe we can talk a little more as this very short time goes by.
Great, thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, and I will repeat the instructions on how to ask a question. If you've got questions for Laura, Sylvia, or Vinnie, you can switch from the showcase to the Q&A on near the top right-hand side of your screen. There's a square with little squares inside of it. You can switch to Q&A over there to see that on the right-hand side. If you've got a question for any of these fabulous presenters, please let us know, and if we've got time, we can cover some of those at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Vinnie at this time. Vinnie, what did you want to share with us today?
So I know that Sylvia oftentimes talks about the fact that making is not about maker spaces, and it's really about a mindset. And so one of the things that is really important is that people don't equate making with 3D printing, and that's oftentimes a first leap that everybody makes. And while I will acknowledge the fact that watching a 3D printer print something is absolutely magical, the first times that you see it, it's really about the process and the design that gets to that particular location. And so a lot of schools that I deal with and teachers who I've run into and had connections with, they say, well, we don't have space. We don't have a set aside space within our school to allow this to happen. And it's really in the same way that it's not about, it's more about the process. It's not about, making a particular area, but it's not about the space. And so you can do things in a lot of different areas in different ways. Laura touched upon it. I've seen schools that have put together carts with the budgets that they have. This one particular school that I'm aware of spent about $2,000 for they did opt for a 3D printer, but it was a tool cart on wheels that they could move from classroom to classroom to support the activities within the classroom. And so they were constrained by their space, but they opted to go ahead and work within this way, which has enabled their students and their teachers not to set aside that resource of space, but to allow everybody to have access to that. You can start with a lot of low-res, low-tech, so tape, as Laura mentioned, tape and cardboard and things, and you can do so much by opening these opportunities up to teachers and students that you can do things for $200 a year, and most people can have the budget to support that type of work. Again, as budgets, as you get more monies, if you have the opportunity to collect grants, you can add tools and add items such as little bits or makeys or go up the ramp, but you don't start small. That's the thing that I would say is start small. You don't have to have a whole classroom space. You can take a corner, you can take a cart, you can just bring everything in and just really allow the teachers. One of the things that Sylvia also alluded to, as well as Laura, is the fact that the most successful teachers in this area are ones who are willing to allow students to demonstrate their understanding in a variety of different ways and don't expect everybody to turn in the same object. The teachers who I see are really successful are those who are willing to step back, and I know that Sylvia alluded to it, but to take a step back and allow themselves to be vulnerable, to be able to have one of their phrases, that their go-to phrases is, I don't know, let's sit down and try to figure this on out. That's really important. It's around creating the culture and community around the activities in the process. It's not about a space, and it's not about big ticket items, and it's not about building a curriculum around it. It's just a willingness to allow students to explore, to demonstrate their understanding and knowledge in a variety of different ways, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just kind of leading on down that way. So
That's a good lesson for everybody, right? Being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Easy for me to say. So, Vinnie, one of the questions that we had gotten in advance was how much space does one need to devote to a makerspace, and what types of equipment you might want to look at getting?
again, we start off, and cardboard is a wonderful resource and wonderful tool. It's plentiful. It's renewable. One of the things that we did within our space is that we made arrangements with the local appliance store, and we would do weekly pickups of the inner packing materials that they would normally throw away, and they would wrap them on up, and we'd pick them on up, and we had this renewable resource of materials. It's just starting with cardboard and having students prototype and build, and even with some of the more expensive equipment that we were fortunate enough to be able to buy, the laser cutters and things, before students went to leather or went to acrylic, they all did their prototyping work on the cardboard, because it's easy to make a mistake. We can just get another piece of cardboard out and begin to work in there. Again, it depends on what your goals and what your expectations. One of the things I'm really excited about is cork bots and some of the simple robotics using vibrating motors. Again, very inexpensive way to do that. Students were really, really excited about wearables, conductive thread and LED, and we're working with some of our kindergarten and first graders right now. We found a conductive yarn with a bigger needle so that they can begin to sew and, again, teach circuitry in this way, and bringing in LEDs on in with felt and taking them on up into skills that students used to develop and build in terms of sewing and things at those younger ages. It led us to have to go out and get a sewing machine. So in our space, because so many students wanted to sew once they saw what they could do with it and how they could take it. So you can use a 3D printer. Those are expensive. You can use laser cutters, but simple hand tools, cardboard. Laura was referring to the make-dos. I'm assuming with the hinges, a great inexpensive kit that one can begin to work with, and then ramp up as things become necessary and students begin to push.
Okay. Great. In our last few minutes, I think what I'll do is just have each of you talk briefly about what you're most excited about at ISTE 2015, and I'll go back to Laura to kick that off.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. We are really excited about the ISTE Mobile Learning Network's Mobile Learning Playground, and this year we're calling it the Block Party at the Mobile Makerspace. And we're really excited to have Sylvia be joining us there as well. And we'll be doing all kinds of fun and engaging makerspace and mobile activities. And we have coding, for example, all different kinds of coding activities going on during our presentations, as well as our interactive tables. We have virtual environments at the Mobile Learning Playground with Unity and Biome for Kids and OpenSim. We also have all kinds of robotics and Hummingbird and Lego and Sphero and Cubelets, all different types of robotics that we'll be showcasing and having some hands-on opportunities for attendees to try them out. One of our really cool activities is going to be using VR cardboard, and that's when you take a smartphone and you put it in this little cardboard headset, and you actually have a virtual reality type of environment there. And so we're going to be checking out some apps that go with the VR cardboard too. We also will have Android apps that are actually for sensors for science and physics. And those will be really exciting, such as thermometers, barometers, and all kinds of different apps that go with sensors and doing all kinds of measurements. And there's just so many activities that we're going to be having there. We will have a 3D printer, so we'll be able to talk about how we relate to different mobile apps with 3D printing. We'll be having, hopefully, a drone, and we'll be flying that around, controlled with a mobile device. That should be really
fun. Now that we've talked about it, we have to have it, right?
Crash, No crashing allowed into the big pillars and things like that. Yeah. And so just a lot of really fun activities, and it's on Tuesday actually from 9:30 to 1, and we invite everyone to attend. We're really excited about that. In addition to our other Mobile Learning Network activities, we have our pre-conference Mobile Megashare, which is actually on Saturday this year. It's a free event. And you can go to our ISTE community website and get all the information there about that and even register. And we also have our Photo Quest activity as well, where we're going to actually be touring Philadelphia, the historical area, and we'll be able to have a lot of fun doing some photos and some augmented reality with some different apps on the historical trail. So we're really excited about ISTE. It's going to be fabulous. It always is, and we'll really...
So much hands-on stuff. Hey, Sylvia, what are you most excited about this year?
Well, you know, it feels like every year there's more maker stuff. I remember about 3 years ago, I did a talk at ISTE that was about the Makerspace, and I think my co-author Gary Steger did one, and we were the only ones talking about the maker movement, and then all of a sudden it was like all these people just joined, and it felt like it was like, yay, you know. It's going to be a party after all. So every year it just feels like the momentum is building and teachers saying, this feels right. I see it in my kids. I feel excited myself. This is going to change my classroom. And it's not that they bought the right 3D printer. I mean, just like Vinnie was saying, it's not about buying the right thing. Sometimes I say, you know, making isn't a shopping list and it's not a special place. It's a stance towards learning. And I think at ISTE, the teachers really get that. And it's really exciting to have people come to like our pre-conference. And yes, we're playing with all this new technology, but we're talking about the classroom. We're talking about how to make this happen in real classrooms. And sure, there are problems, and sure, there are roadblocks and challenges, but it's happening. And you know, when one teacher meets another and they're doing something that sounded like a dream, you know, a day ago, and you meet someone and they're doing it in a classroom and they did it last year, and they have a principal who's on board, and they can tell you a story that you can take back to their classroom. When I see these exchanges and participate in these conversations, it just thrills me to no end. You know, that the momentum is building. So I'm excited about that. Of course, our events. Of course, going to Laura's Mobile Maker Share and doing my own sessions. But you know, I think ISTE is a place that feeds me every year and makes me feel like, you know, I'm doing the right thing and I'm with my tribe and we're all trying to make the world a better place.
That's what it's all about. It is amazing how quickly everything has changed. I think if I looked at our session listing correctly, I think we have over 30 sessions that are related to Makerspace in some way. So in a short 3 years, to go from, you know, nothing or almost nothing, or one maybe, you know, to over 30, that does really tell you what kind of growth we've had. So how about you, Vinnie? What are you most excited about?
Well, there's two things. Number one, on Friday I found out that I have an Ignite session, which was accepted, which is around the maker movement. It's entitled Froebel's Gifts, the 21st Century Update, which I'm really, really excited about. It's something that I iterated and prototyped in February for the first time. It's going to be great. And then, much like Laura, we at the Independent School Educator Network, we are hosting the Maker Playground on Wednesday from 9 to 1. And so in that space, you'll have and be able to meet teachers and practitioners who are starting as simple as Makerspace in a bag, so that you can just take some commonly found materials in a bag and create your Makerspace, on upward to, you know, some of the more advanced projects, the hummingbirds and things, and be able to talk to the teachers and find out, you know, what they've learned in their journey, how you can get started. You know, we've got I think 14 different sets of teachers who are coming in to share what they're doing in their school, and they're all varied based upon what their goals are and what age groups that they're working with. And so it's just a great sharing opportunity for people to come in. And, you know, we expect Sylvia to drop by at some point again, like she did last year, and we know that she will.
Thanks, Vinnie. I'll be there.
No, you have to, right? He's put you on the spot.
I have to. Put me on the spot.
She'll stop by. She'll you know, stop by for, you know, 37 seconds or so, and then. But you know, but last year at the Maker Playground, you know, at the end, around 11:30, you know, we were beginning to slow down because it's the last day of the conference, and Sylvia, I know, was involved in a conversation. There was probably a circle of about 12 people, and it was one of the most enriching conversations about teaching and learning, and it wasn't necessarily about making. That's what drew everybody there, but it was, to me, one of the most profound,
I remember that. Fantastic.
awesome conversations that people were sharing, and that's what ISTE is. That's what the playgrounds give folks the opportunity, is to join into those types of conversations.
Yeah, exactly. You know, even though we've put together an amazing lineup of sessions, you know, for a lot of people, the value in a face-to-face conference like this are those conversations that you have in the hallway, and you know, you might meet and you know, or reconnect with. So, you know, hopefully our attendees will get all of that and more. But I think we're at 4:30 now, so I will give a big thank you again. I really appreciate your time. I know, you know, you're going to spend a few minutes preparing for this, and then obviously the half an hour that we spent here today. So I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in Philadelphia for sure, and look forward to seeing all of our audience members that are joining us today or watching a recording of this. Looking forward to seeing them in Philadelphia as well. And have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Bye, everybody.
Bye.